Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show, and we're down here, Boca Raton, Palm Beach, Delray Beach. Govy, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Both of us, no tans. It's been raining cats and dogs. It's like floods everywhere. It's terrible. But Govy, first I want to talk about my new son-in-law, the doggist. He has 10 million Instagram followers. Let me set the record straight. He takes photographs of dogs. He has 2 New York Times bestsellers. Dogs are not political. They are not Republican. They are not Democrat. He has nothing to do with the show, endorsing the show. The only thing is, Cole's going to put it up. His new book came out today. This Dog Will Change Your Life. We're giving him a little shout out, a little promo. He's in New York. He did a show at Gramercy Theater, and he had a big audience, and he's traveling all around the United States promoting his book. Everybody go out and buy it. This Dog Will Change Your Life by Elias Friedman. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It is your best friend, a dog.
I know we're giving him a shout out. But I do want you to know that on Saturday morning, on CBS Saturday morning, he was featured on CBS.
He's blowing up.
That's a pretty big shout out compared to, it's not the Cutty and Govy show, CBS, but that's pretty impressive.
He's blowing up, and he has nothing to do with any of our content. Let's be clear about it. We're just telling you.
Front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Right. He has 2 New York Times bestsellers. We're very proud of you, Elias. Go out there and knock it out of the park.
And he was a champion tennis player.
He was?
At Friend Central.
He told me he was. I didn't really believe him.
He was a champion tennis player.
He plays this guy, the pro at St. Andrews, and he tells me he can't, the guy really mops the floor with him. I don't know, Elias.
He was one of the best in the world.
Who, Krickstein?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he got to the semifinals of the U.S. Open.
All right, so he's doing pretty good if he can play with him.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Anyway, Govy, there is a lot to talk about, and I want to tell you, I am doing unbelievable, everybody. Last week I reported I am getting 1 million scam, what are they called? Spam calls. Is it spam?
Yep.
Spam calls on my phone, like 35 a day. Somebody gave me this tip, and this is how I'm answering all my calls now. And I'm down to like 15 calls a day. I'm answering every phone call like this. Hello, FBI Agent Harris, can I help you? And everybody's hanging up right away. They think I'm the FBI. I answer the phone. Hello, this is Agent Harris, FBI, and everybody's all nervous and they click. So slowly I'm getting rid of all these spam calls.
Right. That's a great idea.
What do you think? And you know who Agent Harris is? Agent Harris was the agent in The Sopranos, the one that Tony was always had that love-hate thing with.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Soprano had the love-hate thing with him, so Agent Harris is the agent in the FBI. So
there's a new show on, by the way, that's the new Sopranos.
I tried to watch it, Mobland. You told me to watch it. I couldn't watch it.
It's really good. Pierce Bronson's
I know. I watched the first one where he shot everybody up in that room.
Yeah. I mean, you got to all these shows, you got to get past
I know.
the 1-2 episodes so you're into it. That's how it works. It's not like a movie where it happens quick. They're like, you're into like 10 episodes.
I'm waiting for the Tulsa King to come back.
Me too.
That's a great one. And now this new Boston Blue. I want to understand how Danny Wahlberg ended up leaving New York and is now in the Boston Police Department. It's the trilogy or whatever you want to call it of Blue Bloods,
right?
Where Tom Selleck's out and Donnie Wahlberg, who played whoever he played in that show, is now going to be a detective in Boston.
He has his real accent.
Is he a Boston guy?
From Boston.
He's married to what's that gal? She's gorgeous.
She was married to the comedian Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
She was Playmate of the Year.
Oh my God, yeah.
But by the way, Tulsa King, just to let you know, I have a friend from high school, Lou Silver, who is starring in Tulsa King. The guy went into the acting world because his good friend was... I
remember you made me watch that scene when they were in the New York clubhouse.
Yeah, great.
It was great.
Another shout out to Harrison High School. Lou
Right.
Silver.
It was great. But Gavi, we got some great stuff going on. But before we do talk about politics, let's talk about what you've been bragging about week after week after week. The New York Knicks. Well, there's a little controversy. Number one, they lost to the Pacers. You know,
I did say that was a tough game.
You after the first game,
I
you
said it was over.
you called it. You called it. Kreskin called it. You said it's over.
They can't come back from that.
Where they lost a minute and a half, they were 15 points up. But the fact that they fired the coach that got them into the playoffs, they're like rioting in New York over the firing.
They are.
What do you think? You're very close to the team, the management.
My opinion. This is just.
I thought the management was going to get fired.
Strictly my opinion. Everybody wants to know if it was James Dolan that actually put the president, vice president up to doing the dirty work. I don't believe so. I believe.
I don't think Dolan would do that.
I believe that Dolan let these guys, Leon Rose and Wes Wesley, do their thing. I think that the year before, Coach Tibbs basically beat the team down the stretch. It's like a racehorse. When you see a horse getting whipped going down the stretch, that's okay. You don't see jockeys whipping the horse from the time it leaves the gate. I think that the year...
Wait. Run that by me again.
Okay.
What's the analogy?
When you see a racehorse in the Kentucky Derby,
yeah,
and you come down the stretch, you see the jockey whipping the horse
right.
to go faster.
Right.
You don't see the jockey whipping the horse as soon as it gets out of the gate. Coach Tibbs basically was whipping this team from the time the season started.
That's his coaching style. I mean, how?
It is, but they broke down the year before. And when you're playing against a team, say Indiana, they are a running team that are 10 people deep. So when you have an athletic team that's a running team, and you're playing, and the New York Knicks are playing 7 guys, it's tough. And when he finally expanded his bench, they actually won Game 3 because he expanded the bench. It was too late. You can't you can't play basketball with 7 guys on a team. You got to expand the bench. And I think they just had a difference of opinion. I think they think that Coach Tibbs took the team as far as it could go. Great coach, but not at the next level. I would love to see a guy like Johnny Bryant.
So they did that to Andy Reid in football, but you know a lot more about basketball than I do. But I think it's all about matchups too. You know, I don't know who's on the bench to match up against the other team. Maybe they got to exhaust the starters. Maybe there is no matchup. Maybe if they bring in some bench guys against, starters or whoever's out there on Indiana, they're just going to get smoked. They're going to sink 3-pointers and just the game's going to get away from them.
I think what you just said, Andy Reid, was great for the Eagles.
Up until the Super Bowl.
Got us into the Super Bowl, got us into 5 NFC champions. They still fired because they didn't think he could finally get them there. And I think the Knicks are looking at it, honestly.
But Govy, this was really only one. Why don't they give him another year at least?
Because I think right now they're looking at it that the window, because you only get a window that opens for a couple, 2-3 more years. I think they look at it that the Milwaukee Bucks are injured. They are so injured that with Lillard is out for the year next year because of his Achilles. He probably could be career-ending. Giannis is going to leave. They're going to get rid of Giannis. So Milwaukee is no longer around. Tatum for Boston, he's out for the year. They're out of the way. Next year is going to be 3 teams in the East because the East stinks. It's going to be New York, Indiana, and Cleveland. And they're thinking, let's make the changes now. They should get to the Eastern Conference Finals next year, and hopefully they get enough to get over the top. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Giannis ends up with the New York Knicks. Maybe there's a trade for Karl-Anthony Towns for Giannis.
You know what? I don't like that management style. I think they call the guy in, they sit him down, they go through film, they talk to him about it. I mean, they fire him literally 2 days after the season.
You don't think they talked to him last year about it? You don't think they've also talked to other people?
He got further this year. Maybe next year he gets further.
Look, I think they talked to some of the players.
Maybe he says, look, I need stronger bench. I need this, or I need this kind of player on the bench. So when that happens, I need a rebounder.
They had an assistant coach that they brought over from Utah who was Donovan Mitchell's guy. and they brought him over, Johnny Bryant. He was like the assistant head coach. And he left this year and went to Cleveland. And look at Cleveland. They had the best record in basketball.
I get it.
They want to bring that guy in.
So what happens to the front office of the Knicks if whoever they bring in, they fall on their face next year and they don't have as good a year with their new coach?
Well, that's part of being in New York. What happens? What happens with an owner like James Dolan? You talk about people gambling and putting their neck on the line. They could be fired. So
Stan Van Gundy. They should bring in Stan Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy.
They know what they got. But when someone says what happens to them, they had the easy way out. The easy way out would have just kept Tibbs in there.
I like that.
And they had no problems. But you know what? Sometimes you got to roll the dice in order to do it. They're rolling the dice right now. Give them credit. Now it's risk reward.
Big gamble, Govy.
And by the way, 2 days earlier, the New York papers wrote this guy Vaccaro, a writer for the New York Post. He just wrote an article. Whatever Leon Rose decides to do, he deserves our trust. We're going to trust him because we just got to roll with him. And then 2 days later, he fires the coach, and they're like, I don't know. Maybe should we not trust him? So it's what is it? Do you trust him or you don't? I think I trust him. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, Govy, we're going to find out. It's really a giant move, front office move. I don't like it. You like it. We'll see where it goes.
I would like these guys to come to Boca, escape the limelight of New York, hang out here.
Hang out with you, Govy.
Travis Kelce, he's down here. By the way, went to my butcher and my seafood guy.
Have you seen him?
They said that his chef is in there every day.
But have you seen him?
I haven't seen him. If
you see him, are you going to be like a stalker tourist and go up and ask for a signature?
Well, he lives literally around the corner from you.
I know.
So you're going to see him more than me because he's literally.
I haven't seen him riding his bicycle in the neighborhood.
No, but he's. There's nothing not to like
my
about
kids
Boca.
would like it if I stalked, got a signature, an autograph from Taylor Swift. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
I can get you an autograph from Tommy Paul and Jess Pagula. How's that?
They want Taylor Swift. Anyway, let's talk before we get to the Elon Musk, Donald Trump feud, which is just page one. Let's hit P. Diddy a little, where the judge wanted to boot him out of the. Do you see what happened today? I mean, P. Diddy, what's he doing to piss this judge off?
Well, what he did is he turned around and made eye contact and stared at the jury. Now, again, it's a mob move because that's what a mobster would do.
A mobster?
So, I mean, by the way, he's like that. You don't do that. And the judge told him, the jury told him, if you do that again, we're just going to remove you. I mean, he's having a tough time listening to some of these stories. By the way, that's not what they arrested him for, though. So he could still be found innocent. The only thing is, New York is notorious that they made up this bullcrap with Donald Trump when he was running. If they want to get you, they get you. Like, this isn't even what he was on trial for.
A couple things. I'm kind of impressed how calm and cool the guy is. I mean, he's been in MDC Brooklyn prison, for a year now. He lived in these mansions and had all these servants. He's in prison, and I don't care whether it's the SHU or protected unit or whatever they call it. It's still prison. And the other thing is that Donald Trump would even entertain, asked him, would you pardon P. Diddy? Like, do you really think he would consider that?
So I like Donald Trump, and I'm a fan of his.
Would he consider pardoning
This
P.
is just
Diddy?
where I don't understand him. Why would a president of the United States want to be a judge and have to listen to every case? Because once he opens this up, does that mean...
We talked about this last week. His pardons.
Every case he's going to sit and listen to? Like, it's so beneath the presidency.
This guy's a dirty guy. Pete Diddy beats women.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you...
Stay away from this. Just
why
stay
is
away.
even, I'd have to hear the virtues of the case.
Because now he thinks that he was mistreated and he wants to be the guy that, looks at every case. But you can't. You can't look at every case. It's impossible.
It's kind of crazy. Talking about mistreated KGP, the press secretary of Joe Biden, who was awful.
This is my favorite story of the whole week.
She was awful. She was the press secretary.
The liar.
Constant liar. She saw Joe Biden every day. She obviously knew he was cognitively declined and all the other nonsense. And she had that multicolored wig on all the time. And she was, I think, a lesbian. Wasn't she a lesbian? Maybe a lesbian.
I think her girlfriend is Nicole Wallace.
Yeah, Nicole Wallace, famous. And so now she writes a book, just like I did. But I didn't have any steamy stuff in my book. She puts the steam in her book, and the steam is, I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm an independent.
Bizarre.
How does she say that?
The spokesperson, the face of the Democratic Party that covers for her, the one who says the border is secure, the one that says that that Joe Biden is running circles around her, the one that basically lied for him on everything, is now saying, I got to switch parties. I can't take this party anymore.
It's bizarre.
And by the way, not only is that happening, because this is how bad the Democratic Party is right now.
Are you going to buy her? Are you going to read her book?
No, you won't have to. I mean, you got to see it. It played out in front of you. We got to see her lie. We got to see her cover up. Now she is admitting in the book that she lied and she was covering up. Why do I need it?
Well, I'll tell you why she has to do it, because she wants to get another job, and she lied so bad for 4 years, nobody's going to hire her. So she's got to write a book that said, I was told to lie, or I did this, or I did that to lie.
Well, what she thought of is the reason why she wrote the book is she thought she was going to go right from her job into being on MSNBC.
Right.
When MSNBC told her, we're not hiring you. Matter of fact.
They crashed MSNBC.
Matter of fact, they just got rid of Jen Psaki's show.
I saw
What was
that.
that, a month?
Yeah.
A month that she lasted?
So everybody, Jen Psaki was the press secretary
before
too.
her. So,
right.
So they're done. So now she's thinking, what do I got left? I mean, I lied for the president, and now she wants to come out. But when you have, by the way, when you have MSNBC basically fighting CNN, it's like a dream for Fox. Fox, by the way, outdrew ABC, NBC, and CBS. It's like they are now the dominant news station. So the fake news is having a tough time because they got it, like Jake Tapper for CNN. He's talking about this auto pen. MSNBC is not even covering that story, but CNN has to now. How can they have their number one guy on their number one anchor not talk about what he wrote in his book? He has to talk about it.
Yeah, but it's kind of incredible that they can just look at you and lie. I mean, they just lie and lie and lie. Now,
the damage that was done.
But this KGP, in order for her to sell herself, she has to come out as an independent and kind of say, I was following the party lines, and that's what I did. But now I want to tell you, I found religion, and I don't believe in all this stuff.
So let me ask you this question.
Ask away, Govy.
They're going to bring her in to testify also.
Are they?
Yeah, Comer's going to bring her in. He already has his list of people. Now, they're refusing to come to this subpoena to give their testimony. But again, just like Harry Reid did with the nuclear thing with the Dems, they don't understand that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And what happened to the Republicans that did not listen to a subpoena? Navarro, Stone, Weisselberg. What happened to those three guys when they went against the subpoena? They ended up in jail. So all it's going to take is one of these aides that use the auto pen. Somebody's going to break. They're all not going. Somebody's going to talk, and when they talk, you're going to get to hear, because none of them want to go to jail. Trust me, these little aides aren't going to jail, and they're going to talk, and the binder's going to talk, and then you got to sit there, and then it's going to go in front, and they're going to put it on TV. By the way, it'll be on primetime TV, just like ABC.
Why? They won't cover it.
Fox will cover it.
Oh, Fox will cover it.
Fox is now the major news thing.
Yeah.
So if ABC did it on primetime, Fox will run a special.
You're right.
Fox will run a special not just on that platform. They'll put it on their digital platform. They'll put it on Fox Nation. They'll stream it every day. They're going to show you exactly what the auto pen. He only pardoned, I think, 8,000 people in the last, hour in office. That's impossible.
Yeah, you can't sign your name 8,000 times.
I mean, it's just impossible. And then they want to know about the policies. I mean, here's a guy that the border was open. They did that on purpose. It's impossible not to do it on purpose. I mean, he was flying in people. They said you can't bring them in through the thing. He said, okay, fly them in. That wasn't Joe Biden talking. So now you got.
So are they ever going to find out who was AutoPen and who was?
Because they're going to talk. Because some of these aides are going to sit there and tell you who was AutoPen. Then it's going to go to the Supreme Court because it's going to have to be ruled is illegal.
I saw something last night on Fox or whatever, but unless there's evidence that he directed people to do this by email or something like that, that they're never going to get him on any of this.
Sure they will, because they're going to basically ask these people with the AutoPen that put stuff in front of them, they're going to say, was he aware of what he was signing? And they're going to say, no, because if they say yes, they can bring in Joe Biden and ask him. Joe Biden wouldn't be. Now, by the way, he was supposed to be president right now. So he was, even when Orr said he was not qualified and we can't put him on trial, Democrats said, nope, he's great. KGP said they were mad. Kamala Harris said, how could they do that? Rachel Maddow was all saying, how could you do that? Meanwhile, go up, ask Joe Biden right now. Tell me about this guy that was a double murderer, rapist. You let him out. Tell me about his story. If you pardoned someone that was a murderer and a rapist, would you not know about it?
Yeah.
Would you not know that you were flying in people from Haiti?
I don't know if they know everybody that they pardon. I mean, I think the process is a little more detailed than that. I think that they probably have legal aides that study the case.
Do you think Trump knows every single person he pardoned?
Absolutely not.
I think he does.
I think that he probably gets Cliff Notes. He gets a little write-up about the guy. He gets a recommendation from somebody, and then boom. Maybe there's a high-profile person.
If you went up to Donald Trump right now and I said, this is a person that you pardoned.
You pardoned.
And I gave him the little. He would look at it and he would remember that case. He would remember a murder. I mean, how many murders do you let go? I mean, he would remember it.
Well, he would remember notable cases, but I don't think he would remember. Look, he'd obviously know Peter Navarro.
Would he remember anybody that gave him $1 million?
Sure. He would know that case.
Would he know to say that this guy came to Mar-a-Lago, gave me $1 million, and I pardoned the person? Would he know that?
Well, I have a funny story about Donald Trump. He's president of the United States, and this is his first term. And he's in the middle of Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un, all that nonsense. And there's a guy at the club. I'm going to say his name's Bob. I'm not going to say his last name. He's on the putting green. And he had dropped out of the club like 2 months before. And he went over to another club. He went over to High Ridge. And Donald Trump sees him on the putting green. He's in the middle. He's president of the United States. He has hundreds of...
And he's dealing with nuclear Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man. And he's all this other drama that's going on. And he goes up to the putting green. And he says, Bob, I heard you dropped out of the club. Is that true? I mean, why'd you drop out? What's wrong? How could this guy know that? I mean, with all that's going on in this world.
If he knew that...
He knew that this guy dropped out of the club.
Then he knows who he's pardoning for...
Maybe.
Then he knows, and that's going to be a big thing because listen, the only one that he actually wrote his signature was Hunter Biden. All the other Bidens, even if you ask Donald Trump, when Trump was being sworn in, he did not know that he was pardoning his family. He knew about Hunter Biden, but he didn't know about the family. He did that at the last minute in office. And by the way, he also did Raskin, Cheney, Pelosi, every single person on January 6th committee.
So let's talk, since we're talking Donald Trump, right now, I don't know if you saw the explosive news as we got out of our automobiles and walked into our grandiose podcast studio, the fifth one we've been at, Echo Studios in downtown Boca. Elon Musk and Donald Trump in a huge war. Now, let's give you a little foundation. Please remember, folks, Elon Musk gave whatever. Donald Trump, $250 million in his campaign, $250 million, a quarter of what the guy spent to get elected as president of the United States. Then they were bros. They were side by side. Elon did the Doge thing. So they were tight as thieves in the whole Doge thing, and they were everywhere together. I saw them a bunch.
Little X was there.
Yeah, little X. I
Little
saw.
X picked his nose and put it on the desk.
Yep, and
Bet you
all
can't
of a
do that today.
sudden, there's a giant blow up. I mean, the two of them are at war, and they're fighting it out in the press. So the backdrop to this is the big, beautiful new budget bill doesn't have enough cut in it for Elon Musk, and Donald Trump didn't put his pick for NASA in there, and he got rid of the tax credits for electric cars. Now, we always talked about it on the show, Govy, that don't worry about Tesla stock. Donald Trump will always take care of him because he got him elected and gave him $250 million. As we sit here today, what's today's date? June 5th? The stock is down 48 points before we started our. It's down 15%.
Today.
Should we buy it?
Well, yeah. And the reason why it's down today is because no one wants to see the President of the United States go up against the CEO of Tesla. So it'll bounce back, but it got to the point where you got two guys going head to head. First of all, Elon Musk isn't used to one thing he's not used to. He's a guy that calls the shots and he executes. And he wants his company to listen to what he says, and he likes to execute it where it's pretty quick. What he doesn't have to do at Tesla is have to appease a bunch of different factions in the company. So, for instance, Donald Trump could have Senator Johnson from Wisconsin, who basically is telling him, you got to cut Medicaid even more. And then you could have another person, another senator, say Senator Cruz, could say, nope, you cut it too much. So he has to thread the needle amongst his own Republican senators to try to make them both happy. It's like a very tight thing. And Elon Musk isn't used to that. He's used to just plowing through.
I get it. It takes two to fight. But, you know, this Michael Cohen, the ex-lawyer of Donald Trump, who I don't like, he's worthless. But he at the very beginning said, you know, Donald Trump will not have loyalty to Elon Musk. I mean, he said it on his podcast. I watched. I hate the guy. I can't stand the guy. I don't believe anything he says. He went to jail, blah, blah, blah. But he's a creep. But he said the man was. So now, look, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, literally took 3 months of his life off to do this mission for Trump for Doge. And now Trump and his big, beautiful bill doesn't back him on the electric car credits and the NASA guy. My question to you is, and I'm impartial on all this because I like Elon Musk and, I like Trump. If you're somebody in the government or you're Howard Lutnick or anybody else, are you going to be now suspicious that Trump could potentially, if they do something against them, could turn on him? I mean, you just saw, those two were inseparable for the first 125 days. And now the blow up. Read on your phone what Elon Musk said today.
Well, at the very end, it's getting a little crazy right now. At the very end, Elon Musk, because this is where you start throwing just dirt at each other. He's basically saying the reason.
But in the public?
It's stupid. Well, Elon Musk, by the way. Elon Musk
he owns Twitter too.
He also has his own social issues. No one said he has Asperger's, so he has like his own social awkwardness. So right now he's
they're saying it's drugs.
Well, he's fighting back with
ketamine.
Yeah, he basically said that Donald Trump did not release everything about Epstein is because he was involved with Epstein. Basically, that they were.
Is he saying that he was involved as a friend or involved?
Well, that's the reason why it's not all coming out. That he could be thrown into the mix. That maybe he was on the plane, whatever. So he's trying to just throw. Epstein is like a cancer. So he's trying to link Trump with this to get a charge out of Donald Trump. They're like,
why?
And it's like, and here's the thing: Donald Trump can go up to him. Just like Biden at the very end of his term, he gave Stacey Abrams $2 billion. Obama gave Cilantro $5 billion for things. If Donald Trump wants to give Elon Musk other things for the EVs and you have 3.5 more years.
So whose fault is this fault? Who is this?
Elon Musk. To me, Elon Musk has to realize that the reason why politics is so hard is because it's a balancing act. That's how it's set up. It's not just like every time Donald Trump just now made a deal. He wants to have that travel ban. Boom, another judge is going to come up. I guarantee you, a judge will come up and stop that.
Govy, so he calls Elon Musk in to help him with Doge and PR campaign. He had to set some expectations and promise him that he would back him in a certain way. And for Elon Musk to explode like this, whatever expectations and promises he was given had to not work out. I mean, because I'm sure Elon Musk would not have taken 3 months off of it running his 6 companies or whatever the hell he has, unless his expectations were set that he had free reign and he was able to do what he could do.
I think that Donald Trump, the difference of their philosophies is one is a deal maker and the other one gets things done without making a deal. He just does his own. Elon Musk. He plows ahead. He's the pioneer. He is by far the guy that's like...
Yeah, but if you're getting rid of tax credits for electric cars, you're really cutting the knees off of the guy. I mean, that's like his world.
But there's other ways to give it back. But
you live quarter to quarter, month to month when you're in that kind of business.
But I think what Donald Trump needed to do, I think Elon Musk thought, I'm going to put this big, beautiful bill out there, and it's going to get done. I think Donald Trump was realizing it's not going to get done. I got to do certain things to appease everybody.
It was $9 billion in a $6 trillion budget. You're telling me he couldn't throw him $9 billion?
Maybe there was 5 senators that said, I'm not voting for this unless that's in there.
Well, then give those senators pork. You got to protect Elon.
But maybe Elon just needed to wait and be a little bit more patient, and he wasn't. It's Donald Trump knew one thing. I want this bill to go through. This bill, if it doesn't go through and it gets... then you're going to have the tax credits that are going to come due. He's looking at a much bigger picture.
I understand, but Elon Musk gave him the $250 million to get... I'm just playing
not
devil's...
Not to be president. He didn't say...
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not picking a side. So, Don, if you're watching, not picking your side, not Elon. Although, I'd like to have a job with you. I'll leave the Cutty and Govy show and go to work for you. I'm not picking your side. I'm just saying that Elon Musk, you don't know what his world looks like in terms of finances, and they live quarter to quarter. When a stock goes down 15%, you don't know how he has it levered up on Twitter or X and SpaceX and the Boring Company. I mean, when you lose your main source credit for electric cars, I mean, that's like huge. I mean, how could Donald Trump not keep that in there? I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk, when he took 3 months off of work and wrote checks for $250 million, never in a million years thought this could happen.
How do you know he doesn't come back and say, by the way, if you buy cars that are built in America, you will get a tax credit? And now not only will Musk get the credit, so will Ford, so will the big 3. And they're all into the same thing.
But he would have had that conversation before it became a public feud.
Well, maybe 2 heads were butting on the thing, and Trump's trying to explain it to him. I got to do it this way. You're going to get it in a different way. Sometimes you can take it from him and give it to him in another way. Trump knows one thing. He's worried about Russia and Ukraine. We can get to this later with... You got Ukraine now with these cheap drones basically pulling a Pearl Harbor on Russia. Russia's firing back. He's dealing with that situation. He's dealing with every single move he makes. There's some judge out there that tries to stop him. Now he has Elon Musk. This is the easy part.
I understand. Nobody's arguing that Donald Trump doesn't have a million things.
Take it easy on the guy. Yeah. He's going through so much. This is not the time for Elon Musk to pile on. You have plenty of time. By the way, how many people can say, I'm sleeping over the White House tonight. Make sure my bed's ready and talk to the guy. It's like there's no need to get into a fight on Twitter.
I can't walk in a man's shoes that has $400 billion. I mean, his thought process is a little different than yours and mine.
They will work this out.
I think
and it's a great time to buy Tesla.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think the bonds are irretrievably broken.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I just think, for Elon, it's like when Nikki Haley attacked Donald Trump, she's dead to him. When Chris Christie attacked Donald Trump, he's dead to him.
Let me ask you, did Donald Trump make fun of Ted Cruz's wife?
I understand, but Ted Cruz was the one that made the move. Elon Musk here is essentially saying that Donald Trump, I was on the inside, and Donald Trump was involved with Epstein. That's what the Post just said, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's a pretty strong post. How do you if you're a consumer and knowing that Elon Musk was side by side the last 125 days, you're assuming he saw the Epstein file and he knows what's going on with Epstein.
Well, the good news for ABC tonight, that's all you're going to hear
probably,
about is Elon Musk. The world you could see Ukraine and Russia.
And it's great for us. We'll talk about it.
Right. Ukraine and Russia could actually have a peace treaty, but the top story on ABC News tonight will be Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
So my question to you is, how many days does this go on? Are they going to fire back at each other, or does it end in a day?
It ends within a week.
And that's a long time.
And I'll tell
Elon Musk has a lot of information.
I'm going to tell you the people that are going to reach out to Elon Musk. You're going to have Eric Trump, Don Jr., Ivanka, Jared Kushner, Joe Rogan. You're going to have these people say, hey, guys, let's get along.
The problem is Donald Trump doesn't apologize.
He's going to sit in a room. He listens. He's a deal maker. He'll listen to the guy, and they'll walk out of that room, and it'll be okay.
Okay, so let me ask you, can Donald Trump now walk back credits for electric cars?
He can come up with a different way to give him credits. I don't care. You could say whoever makes a car in the state of Texas gets a car. He can come up.
Okay, all right.
He can come up with.
I understand.
He can come up with something
that works.
That works for Elon Musk, and he's happy.
Well, it's interesting, folks. You have the richest man in the world, the most powerful man in the world, that had a bromance, now in a bro feud. It's crazy. We're going to see how it goes down.
And here's the other thing that Donald Trump can do.
Maybe he's jealous of his hair.
He could also go up and say, "Listen, Elon, I'm going to India right now. I want you to meet with the president of India. What's his name? Mambi.
I can't pronounce it.
I'd like you to sit in on this." I mean, there's a lot of things that you could go along with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be fighting with the most powerful man in the world, even if I was the richest man in the world.
Right. I mean, he could go up to the German guy, Chancellor today. He could say, "Do me a favor. I would like to see some more EV cars in Germany. Can you?" And all of a sudden, he gets an order for cars. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Let's stay on Trump for a minute. Ukraine blew up 40% of Putin's air force, big, heavy, fast jets. Do you think Donald Trump knew before that happened that was about to happen? I mean, do you think we're headed to World War III and nuclear war?
Let's put it this way. The press and the United States, the White House, is saying that he didn't know.
Lindsey Graham was over there spending, what did he spend?
They're saying he didn't know.
Some crazy amount of money.
And I'm probably guessing you're going to say the same thing. I'm saying he 100% knew. There's no way Ukraine, as he's in negotiations, that Donald Trump is on the phone, is going to do something like that without Trump knowing. And I think Trump gave the go-ahead because Trump just watched Russia basically send missiles into civilian apartment buildings.
Right. So Trump sent, his war hawk, Lindsey Graham, there the day before it happened to Ukraine. They say he spent $400,000 on his trip and the hotels and whatever. I didn't even know Ukraine had nice hotels. I thought everything was bombed out. But do you think Trump told Lindsey Graham to carry the message over to, Vlad over there that you have the green light to bomb the shit out of.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah. I think he did. I don't think Ukraine right now, and I think, by the way, I think Donald Trump is very impressed that these little cheap drones were able.
Scary.
That is a scary part in this world, that these cheap little drones were able. This was almost the same thing as Israel with the beepers.
Well, how about this terrorist in Colorado now? I mean, he's not even using guns anymore. He's using Molotov cocktails and he's hurting people.
Well, by the way, that's because we have so many people in this country that we don't know about. I think that this is going to be a problem, that this is going to be a weekly occurrence. That's how many people. That's how many people are in this country that we have no. It used to be years ago. Remember after 2001, after 9/11, it was like, people were worried, like, you got to be nice to the Muslims because everybody was like looking at them, like the mosque and everything like that. Now, who would ever think in New York you would have the Palestinian flag going down Fifth Avenue saying, river to the... I mean, it's bizarre. And they're covering up. They're mad that ICE is they're covering their faces, but it's okay for these pro-Palestinians.
Do you think Jews in America are scared? If you're a Jew, are you scared?
I think more Jews are buying guns now than ever before.
Really?
And I think that...
this Jew doesn't have a gun.
I don't have one either.
Yeah.
But, there was a comedian and actor, Michael Rappaport. He said it best the other day. I think he said to all the Jews out there on a real podcast, he said, the cavalry is not coming for you. Like, you're on your own. Like, if this was any other group, let me ask you a question. If this was African Americans were being lit on fire and then killed outside of the African embassy in Washington, they would be
burn the country down.
They would be burning down cities right now.
You got to give it to the Jews. They aren't fighting back. Why aren't they fighting back? They're just vocally fighting back. They're financially fighting back, but they're not fighting back. Like, if this was an African-American problem where people on college campuses were screaming, we hate this, we hate that, get rid of them, blah, 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 I would be like chaos here in America.
Because I think people still feel that the majority of
population.
That the people of the majority of the United States, again, Democrats are on the wrong side. When Trump wants to say, we got to know, like from Harvard, Columbia, who are these students that you're allowing into the country? When Donald Trump even said today during a press conference, all we want to know is the list and we want to check them out. I don't think there's one American that would sit there and say that the United States should not be entitled to know who Harvard is taking in from the Middle East. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. If you're coming into this country, that at least let the United States look over the list. But, and that's what's going to... And I think when you start seeing this, I think we have a problem. By the way, this guy in Colorado, in Boulder, the guy was an Uber driver. How would you
imagine being in that Uber?
By the way, he has an 18-year-old daughter or son. How do you know she's not an Uber driver? I mean, they're here.
They have 5 kids.
They have 5 kids. And by the way, they weren't living in a mansion. They're living in a 1,000-square-foot apartment. You don't think they know that Dad's in the back making flamethrowers? I mean, like, hey, Dad, you're like, you're.
It's like the guy in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
The parents didn't know what he was doing.
He probably said to his daughter, I want to look up on YouTube, how do I make a Molotov cocktail? Can you help me? Because I'm a little computer illiterate. And she said, sure, Dad, take a look. So, I mean, there's no way he didn't have some sort of help that they know that, what's Dad doing tonight? Oh, he's practicing his flamethrower in the backyard. I mean, come on.
Well, Govy, our show's flying by. I'm not here next week. My little guy is graduating high school. He's the president of his class. He's going to give a little speech at his graduation. He was the not valedictorian, super victor, whatever that word is, where you're like next to the valedictorian of his class. So we're really proud of you, Charlie. Congratulations. Best of luck. I'll be sitting in the audience making faces and having fun.
And I will be cheering you on at the airport, seeing if there's a delay.
Man, I can't
There could be a
wait.
big delay. The weather's pretty
And I have
tough
a
up
5
there.
o'clock flight, so it's going to be backed up all day. I'm going to take the brunt of that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't buy the flight insurance. Should I have bought the flight insurance?
No, you won't need it. Your big thing's going to be, what do I do? Look, as long as you're not checking luggage, you can maneuver.
No luggage.
You can maneuver. You can go, but it's going to be tough.
Carry-on bag.
It's going to be
Carry-on
brutal.
bag. But the 5 o'clock flight, you get backed up all day. I don't drink anymore, so I'm going to be there.
I would be drinking that day.
Really? I should start drinking? I
Yeah.
used to spend my time on the delays at the airport bar. Are you a little nervous, though, when you go? They say the plane's delayed 2 hours. Are you kind of hanging around thinking they may like say, oh, the plane, we fixed it right away after 15 minutes, or you take off for the 2
Well,
hours?
that's the problem. They do that also. They can tell you that you're delayed 35 minutes.
I'm kind of out of practice here.
Well, what they do is they tell you your flight's delayed 35 minutes. Then 35 minutes is another 40 minutes. Then 40 minutes, it's another hour. Until you find out that you're now there for 4 hours. Then, just when you're thinking of going back because they're telling you it could be another hour, they now say, we're now boarding. So you have no idea. They freeze you at the airport. And I'll let you know. I'll call you and say, how you doing?
I'm sure you'll call me 10 times. But my concern is, what if they say 5 o'clock delayed till 7:30? So I take a walk. I go to the American Express lounge, sit there and eat a little food and relax a little. And then instead of 7:30, at 5:32, they fix the wheel or whatever was wrong. And they say, all right, we're fixed. We're ready to go. Do you get like a beep or something on your phone that it's ready to
they'll
go?
give you alerts as long as you get the alerts. But
All
I'm
right,
going
so I have to do that.
But I'm going to tell you the best part. I'm going to just tell you the best part that I love. There are 2 planes. They're side by side from Fort Lauderdale to Philadelphia. And you got people that are flying, by the way, to Europe that need to make the connecting flight in Philly to get to Ireland or England or Rome. And all of a sudden, one flight is scheduled to leave Fort Lauderdale at 12 o'clock, and another one is scheduled to leave at 12:30. And all of a sudden, the 12 o'clock flight is delayed 2 hours. So they get these people to switch their flight to get onto the 12:30 flight because they think that's going to go.
Right.
So now they switch. And then as soon as they switch, their flight is now all of a sudden up and running, and the 12:30 one is stuck. So you ever get in line at the bank and you want to see which line goes faster?
Right.
And you switch, and then you can't get back to your seat?
Well, I don't have that problem at the Publix. The Publix now has you can check yourself out.
Are you up to that point?
Yeah.
So you're 68 years old and you're self-checking?
I'm self-checking now.
Wow.
They got rid of most of the
I saw that.
cashiers.
I'm not self-checking yet.
68 next month. I'm still 67. All my high school buddies will get upset if you say 68. But yeah. Yeah, I'm doing the self-checking. You can do a lot of stealing in the self-checking too by accident.
You know what you need to do when you get to Philadelphia? Look up that CR coffee, La Colombe coffee.
La Colombe coffee.
They're all over Philadelphia, by the way.
Our lead sponsor, Just the Mail, is putting a La Colombe coffee shop in the store. We're going to be the only one in the state of Florida, La Colombe, huge national chain, big in the Northeast, huge in Chicago, New York,
Beverly
Boston,
Hills.
Philly, Beverly Hills, West Coast. And it's going to be open in 3 weeks, I think. We signed everything. We're ready
They
to
should
go.
maybe change their name to Not Just the Mail.
I like that. Not Just the Mail. We'll have to tell them.
Because it's like, Just the Mail, it doesn't have the coffee.
But when they become huge in the coffee business too, Govy, are we going to get a raise? Can I get a raise?
I think
we get a raise. I'm going to stop bringing the seed coffee in. I'm going to bring in La Colombe coffee.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to get someone to do taste coffee. Because I did learn one thing about coffee real quick. I didn't know that they grade it. There's considered first wave, second wave, and third wave. First wave is considered Dunkin' Donuts type of coffee.
Uh-huh.
Second wave, which is a little bit better coffee, is Starbucks. And then the top high-end coffee is La Colombe coffee.
All right,
So
baby. We
is
got
the
it.
top
La
coffee.
Colombe. We're going to have the top coffee in all of Boca Raton at Not Just the Mail. Because now it's going to be La Colombe coffee. All right, folks. Great debate. We're going to talk about Elon Musk next week. We'll talk more P. Diddy. We're going to talk Donald Trump. And we're going to talk, well, next week, it'll be the following week, we'll talk about my trip to Philadelphia
Yeah.
and how I did on my flights.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Have a great week.
See ya.